Viktor Semanov is in Kyiv. He is a former IT consultant who has now joined the Territorial Defense Force. Viktor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Viktor, what are your responsibilities with the Defense Force?
I'm doing here like a paramedic and doing stuff with a gun.
When you say stuff with a gun, does that mean you would be in a position to shoot people you are fighting against?
Yep. It's also my role, but my main role is to trying to assist with the medical assistance to the soldiers that are around me.
So let's begin with that. What kind of assistance have you had to offer? What kind of wounds have you seen? What sort of work have you had to do in that caretaker capacity?
Fortunately, from this war began, we didn't have casualties in my squad, so I saw personally no wounds in the guys with me. But there was a lot of cars that are going with the soldiers that had the dead or wounded was passing through us. So unfortunately, we have no casualties.
Okay, so you're monitoring the situation. Then let me talk to you about the other part of your responsibilities, as you said, to carry a gun. Have you had to use your gun so far?
There was situations we had to use it, but in Kyiv nowadays it's mostly silent. The fightings are going outside the capital. Kyiv is our capital, so for us it's now more silent than before.
So talk to me, Viktor, about how you went from being an IT consultant with your girlfriend in Mariupol in the south to now being in the capital, carrying a gun and caring for those who get wounded.
Oh, you have such a good memory. As for Ukrainians, we don't calculate dates now. I don't know which is a week now or which is a day today, because the war started 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and I do remember that we was in Mariupol. We was sleep very well and awakened of the sounds of war on that day, and we was required to leave our city, and now we are from the 1st of March. We are in Kyiv and in our capitals that are full of army, full of soldiers, full of people who wants to defend it, and it's unbelievable for me and for other men to sit down and to sit down and do not protect our country. So it's a kind of duty. Everyone wants to resist.
And without disclosing anything that would put you in danger, where are you right now? Are you in a bunker? Are you in an apartment? How are you keeping safe?
No one is safe now in Ukraine, because we are in the city, in some place in Kyiv. It's not a bunker. It's not the safest place, but we think we are safe enough in Ukraine. But we have missiles that are flying in the sky from Russia and from Belarus. And for example, a few days ago, it was a missile strike in a half of kilometer near from us, and we was awakened because our building was trembling and something was falling from the sail. And also 2 weeks ago, I remember that we have not a casualty, we have wounded people, not from the shootings, but from the also missile that was shoot to the TV tower in the city center, and there was a guys from our squad, and 2 of them was wounded, and 1 of them is medium average wounded. So it's no safe place in Ukraine now.
How do you manage that psychologically, Viktor? You're a young person, you have your whole life ahead of you. Your girlfriend has, I assume, chosen not to seek refuge in Poland or another neighboring country. She's sticking by you and sticking by her homeland. How do you deal with all of this?
I don't know how we deal about this. I think it's some kind of human power that are inside of every one of us in the critical situation, because I'm trying not to think about all this huge amount of dramatic events that happened around us, and it's some psychological shield we have and we are trying to stay our best. But I absolutely realize that after war ends, everyone in Ukraine will be required with the assistance of psychologist. And for example, I have a friend in Mariupol city that was unable to evacuate from that, and I was trying not to think about them. But as for now, I open my Telegram and I see that a lot of them are offline since the 2nd of March, and people are looking for them. And I literally don't know what with my friends and the people that are important for me.
And let's talk about your friends.
It's terrible to think.
I'm sure it is, and you mentioned that you're now in the capital, and you also mentioned that right now it's silent in and around the capital, which is frightening in a different sort of way. But when you think back to the city you're originally from, Mariupol, which has seen non-stop bombardment, I mean, even a location where it clearly said outside of the theater, there are children hiding here, and it still got bombed. I mean, what are you hearing from your friends and family back home?
First of all, I didn't hear. I hear nothing from my friends for almost 2 weeks, except that they have no gas, electricity, has water, and cell phones and internet. But there was an attempt for a lot of them to leave the city in the last 3 days, and after this, there was a huge amount of dramatic stories from my friends and from other people from Mariupol, and it's terrible and disaster. For example, there was the one guy I know the most. He was trying the first 7 days to help other civilians, to give them food, to help the wounded people, to trying to find the relatives of other people. But after the 7 days being in the city with nothing, the basic things, he said, next 2 weeks I just slept in the cold, dark shelter under the building, and there was a crowd of people, and we was absolutely helpless because we had nothing. There was no food. Every food was finished up, and people was running all over the city, finding the water from the fountain or river, or getting some food, the lefts of food outside. It's a story. It's a story I can't explain. This all fear I know. For example, one of my friends left the Mariupol 2 days ago, and he said, I have without the cell network. I didn't know about the evacuation pathway. I just heard it in 10 minutes. I packed my all items, go out to the street. He started to collect his items to the car, and in 20 meters of him, it was shelling, and another car was burned at that moment. And he just hopefully sit down in the car and run away. Mariupol is no place for living now.
So let me ask you this. NATO leaders are going to meet again in the coming days. They have not yet offered the no-fly zone. Your president is staying by your side in the country and still asking for the support of the rest of the world. What should, from your point of view, what should the rest of the world be doing? How can we help?
First of all, I would say a great help, great thanks for everyone from the world, from the citizens, from the politicians that help us. We feel your help here. It's really appreciate all the guns, all the javelins, all the NLO, all the food, and all the other things. To tell about your question is one. I don't believe in no-fly zone because Ukraine is the largest country of the Europe, and it's hard even for the NATO to close the sky here. I don't believe in this. But what the world and NATO countries could do, and it's possible to do, is to give more weapons, also anti-aircraft weapons, and also you should stop all the trade with Russia. Everything must be stopped. The trucks, the oil, the gas, everything. And also you have to ask your companies for example, Nestle and Leroy Merlin and so on, to stop trading with Russia, because everything, every business thing that could be stopped, it's enough, it's fair, because when you stop business, you stop the people death in Ukraine.